But then here's the final one, and I'm not going to play it just because it's annoying. But okay.
Really? VTubers are annoying?
Yeah. No, they're all...
Callum knows that he's in dangerous water. Like, Callum is trying to reel him back on air, and it's like, really? VTubers, just can't stop it. Stop it, guys. Stop it. Change the subject. No, God. I know their community. No.
Men, too. Every VTuber's a man.
They're not just men, though, are they?
They are.
No.
What do you mean, just men?
The men on hormone treatment.
Okay. Whatever, yeah, okay. The point is, right, people, and like...
So this is a meme, by the way, that all VTubers are men. It started when Project Melody decided to stream on, I think it was Chaturbate, and she immediately became the #1 streamer. And this upset some of the other girls that were streaming on that platform because they put a lot of effort into farming their pay-pig-is, and yet you have this anime girl coming over there, and she's now #1. So they were very sour because of that, and they were saying, well, it's not fair that she gets to maintain her anonymity, but the other point of contention was like, no, she must be a man in real life. Like, she is a man in real life. And that's when the idea that VTubers are men started. Now, there are some. I will tell you that there are some, and some are very good at making a female voice, but we have seen how VTubers look like, and we know that, well, an overwhelming amount of them, especially the corporate ones, are actually women.
I hate VTubers way more than I hate this NPC trend, right? Because, like, VTubers, right, the people watching them persuade themselves, oh, no, that's actually attractive. No, it's not. Attractive women always show their faces because that's how they make the money.
So that's actually an interesting point if you analyze it, right? Attractive women show their faces. That's not necessarily true in 2023 because if you are an attractive woman, the competition is astonishing. Like, if you want to start an OnlyFans account or you want to start a Twitch hot tub stream or anything like that and you're just attractive, you're not going to make it. Like, I'm telling you, because the market is saturated with that. Like, you already have the Alinities and the Pokemains and everything like that. It's very difficult. I know it's surprising, but it's very difficult for an attractive woman to compete now because you're not competing with just the girls in your town. You're competing with women around the world. That some of them have better technology than you, like better streaming gear, and others may even have more experience on how to talk with the chat. So believe it or not, like just being an attractive woman is not enough. Now, when VTubing comes along, it is a nice way to use something innovative in order to capture the audience. Right, like all of a sudden you're an anime girl that is doing stuff, and that turned heads. Secondly, take into account that many of these girls, you know, they want to get online, but at the same time, they don't want their friends and families to know. So VTubing maintains an anonymity. I mean, a lot of political commentators used to do this back in my day. The skeptic community used to do this. Like, everyone used to have, like, their own avatar. Now it would be called PNG tubing if you did that. So, yeah, no, like, there are many VTubers that are actually pretty girls, like we've seen the pictures of them. But there are others, like, for example, Metokur and Pippa actually says that VTubing is for ugly people because, yeah, your looks don't matter. And I will tell you what, if looks don't matter, then you need to pull a lot with your charisma, and you need to show that you're intelligent and you're able to entertain the chat. Which is why a lot of people do like these VTubers, because it's more than just a woman doing kissy faces at the camera. Like,
very funny, yeah. Like, we just basically got the best part of the interview and the stream. You may as well tune out, everybody. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
I think it was the last time I rated you on Twitch. You were playing a game with Ziltek, and there's a joke in my community where, like, no matter where I go, talk about sounding always happens. And literally, as soon as I rated you, Ziltek was like, Gundam, would you ever let a girlfriend sound you?
What the fuck is sounding?
That's what I wanted to know.
Sounding is where you put stuff in your urethra, and you talked about the fiery Latinas you used to date, and you were like, you know, they're probably into that.
Well, I could see that happening to someone else, but not me. That sounds pretty gay. You're not a normal chick, let's be real here. You're dressed up as a fox. You have ketchup on your desk.
Fair.
You're the Summit 1G of Korean games.
I have autism.
Was unmistakably, unquestionably CP. Lolicon was degenerate and a cover for pedophiles. They're the words of Jim of old. That is what Jim built his audience and built his fan base around. Laughing at communities that had masturbatory gratification fulfilled when they looked at cub porn, when they looked at things that were quite literally, I guess, drawings of animals but presented in a childlike way. That was the old Jim there, denouncing that, leading crusades against that, because it was righteous. People joined him in that crusade. People, of course, went, that's fucked, bro. What? Why on earth would anyone allow this? Of course we're going to throw as much money as possible at you, and of course we're going to join you side by side as we fight in the trenches against these degenerate communities that you're finding on Tumblr or wherever they may hide. It's awful rich then that we find ourselves...
So, that one.
Yeah, he really likes getting pegged as well. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. So
Apparently there's some crazy shit going on.
you know, I cannot believe the amount of degenerate shit that this dude is into. It's not just one thing. It's not just you cheated on your wife. It's not just you're into pee. You're into getting pegged. You're into all the genders. Threesome, oh my god. On my end.
Hello?
I'll fix it. What the fuck?
Welcome to the audio shit show.
To be avowed is a child, a rabbit, you might even call it the cub porn that Jim used to rally against. But say it isn't so. Say it isn't so that Daddy Jim has promoted this Pippa Pipkin incessantly over the years to his audience of pedophiles, normalise this to them, to the point where they go to an off-Kai convention, a pedophiles conference, publicly gather, wearing the merchandise and costumes of Daddy Jim, the literal fucking skin.
No.
And maybe
This, by the way, is a bitch that thinks that there's a good paedophilia. That's what we led this with. Come out and just disavow the Kiki bitch or Peppa Pipkin that talk about there being good and legal paedophilia. I ain't gonna say that. Instead, I'm gonna cast aspersions and point at Ethan Ralph and say, the monster's over there, whilst I'm surrounded by plushies and merch of all this degenerate shit. We've seen the anime dungeon. We've seen what Jim lives in. Now, in this segment, what I really want to do is, I want to show you, which is as good as any, I guess. I want to show you Gator. This was Gator when he was indeed in the indentured servitude of Ethan Ralph. When he swept it for the man, when he was indeed the co-host for like 10 years on every show. This was Gator under Ralph's stewardship. When Ralph was massa. This was Gator then. Lolly is disgusting and degenerate. There's King of Polo's dad's was shot. Brian's everywhere. Why are you guys so obsessed with children? Gator then, under Ralph's employ. I've said this 1,000 times. Lolly is simulated CP. It's disgusting and degenerate, and should be banned. Pedophiles are monsters who molest kids. And you call everyone you don't like a pedo. You're helping pedos. Gator, Shannon Gaines, under the employ of Ethan Ralph. That was when Ethan Ralph was his master. This is Shannon Gaines now, in the current year, with Daddy Jim as his master. There he is in the gym hat.
This is like one of my favorite animes of all time.
Oh,
Jim
okay.
is like my first wife. That's why I like
This is Gator now, in the current year. That is Gator, who has photoshopped, perhaps even drawn, with his own hands, his avatar and the Kiki Bitch's avatar, the primary school teacher that likes rape and lolicon and urination and all that degenerate shit. This is a drawing where everything will be Deju Rabba of Gator with his waifu. This is something he felt empowered to do because he was under the mastership of Jim. The old Gator, this was unmistakably, unquestionably CP. Lolicon was degenerate and a cover for pedophiles. Mama! How times have changed. So when Jim sits there and says that, why is it that the co-hosts, Gator and Fagmenko, why did they turn out to be pedos after I, Jim, gave them my blessing and promoted them and gave them my audience and said they were kings and funny? Why is it that they turned out to be pedos? Surely it wasn't Jim's influence. Surely not. Oh my god, indeed. This is Pippa Pipkin, Jim's favourite of the VTubers.
No, all good, all good. I want to argue with them. Listen, there's only two. You can argue about this.
Disagree.
But those are the only two he looks at.
I disagree. I think the two archetypes would be Mommy and Gremlin.
Gremlin is just a variation of a lolly type. You got your gremlin lollies, you got your sweet lollies, you got your daughter lollies, you got your like say-so lollies that we don't call lollies, but they're still lollies.
Even like Himamori Luna, right? I don't think she's like real lolly. Like people will look at her and be like, oh,
she's baby.
She's baby, but she's not
baby.
like lolly.
She baby.
Not like lolly.
She baby.
Fallen Shadow? I think Fallen Shadow is almost. I think she's pretty. Fallen Shadow's a weird case.
Jim avows this.
Because I want to
Jim
say
defends
lolly,
this.
but at the same time, like
Jim will not even put out a tweet
I don't know.
calling this bitch out for what it is and trying to atone for his actions and promoting it.
I watch her clips quite a bit, but
That is as bad as quite literally
like just general
anything Jim has ever covered.
Strong, like lolly appeal.
That is a pedophile. They're all pedophiles, folks. All these VTubing whores
So dumb. So I'm like reading your chat.
Literally. Sit in filth and squalor. They have to pretend to be children online so that other men will give them super chats. Those other men are pointed to them by Jim. Those other men look like Gator. Those other men wouldn't be around if it wasn't for Jim giving that their blessing, his blessing. Because they don't do shit without Jim. They'll go to chudbuds. They go to Post. They'll go to anything that Brian Dunn has hacked. Brian Dunn hacked chudbuds, by the way. Like, for real. He leaked all the DMs out there, and we could see them all gathering and talking about their low degenerate fantasies around these VTubers. They wouldn't exist without Jim. Under a different master, as we saw with Gator, they'd be disavowing it from the rooftops. They'd be saying that it's unapologetically CP. They're all pedophiles. Just like we saw with Gator when he was under Ralph's employ. Now we see them under a different master and they all seem to be gathering en masse in public. It's nuts, but it's real. Even Gator is recognised by his daddy as a pedophile. I underlined it for you so you didn't have to read the cancer that surrounds him. Kill shot. Kill shot. And I won't stop. You might have noticed that suddenly it's taking the week off and it's extremely sick. Help. It begs for help. There ain't no help coming, bitch. Because that help that would come, Jim, I'll make sure I cut the legs from the horse under him as he rides to your rescue. I'll ensure that he does die. And doesn't fake it till he makes it. I'll tip the wheelchair, Pippa. There ain't no help coming now, bitch. But Jim thinks because the fire has risen so much, Jim thinks that he can just quit this sector and die. He thinks he can just leave this and dodge the flames that lick his feet. Here he is saying, look, the sector's dead and dust and the corpses, it can rot in the gutter and make way for more entertaining things again. More entertaining things again. I wonder what Jim has in mind. What more entertaining things might this righteous, divine place be swept away for? What does Jim have in mind? Jim wants to take my sector, burn it to the ground, and turn it into this? Staff it with a league of insects that look like him, that dress like him, that talk like him? I say no. I say no. Shit. I won't allow it. I simply will not allow it. You'll have to put a bullet in me and drag me out in a box before I'll stop saying no to this. This is evil. Jim's sector, Jim's vision, should die with him. Poor Gator. Because whilst Daddy Jim won't be coming for Pippa's rescue, sure as shit won't be coming for your sorry ass.
Become like, trolls on the internet, which I think is true.
So I think where the accusation comes from is the idea that using the word grooming elicits the idea of sexually grooming. So that's, and I saw that somewhere else recently, where they said that the use of the word grooming is strategic. But you're saying that you weren't actually making that statement.
No, if I thought he was a pedo, I'd call him a pedo.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
I wouldn't make the distinction. I'd just call him one. Why wouldn't I?
Based.
I don't understand why I would use innuendo. If that's what I thought, I would just say it. But no, I don't think he's pedo. I just think that essentially he knew what he was doing was wrong, though. Because he was essentially using kind of like internet clout to like coerce like younger lads into doing quite harmful things. And the thing is, the people...
Sargon predicted all of this. He knew what Jim was doing. He had in his mind's eye the end point of Jim's degeneracy. He knew that an off-Kai convention, a pedophiles meetup, would inevitably be the end point of Daddy Jim. And he predicted it way back when. Sargon knew. And in this current year, we must lay hands together and a round of applause to realise that, yes, folks, Sargon won. Sargon won. Sargon, let's get down to business. Sargon doesn't enable an online community that he calls his fans to be pedophiles. No. Sargon doesn't send his fans on a website of other pedophiles called chugbuds.lol. No, Sargon didn't do that. Sargon didn't do an interview with Pippa Pipkin where he guffawed all over it, said it was based for making lots of money, and didn't call out its paedophilia. Sargon didn't do that. Sargon didn't marry Chinese. Sargon has never once in his life retweeted or said that Lolicon was based. Sargon didn't do that. Sargon didn't find himself in the midst of many, many, many terminal illnesses that he deserved. Not Sargon. Sargon's bones didn't find themselves turning to dust. Nuh-uh. Sargon didn't find himself in a wheelchair. Not Sargon. Sargon have to, every single day of his life, consume a whole litany of categorized prescription medication by the handful. Not Sargon. Sargon wasn't relegated to liquids. Nuh-uh. Sargon didn't go on stream after stream with Fagmenko, literal pedophile, and say that he was based on a king. Said that he was his successor. Not Sargon. Sargon didn't allow Gator with the hard Y to continue living. Nuh-uh. Sargon didn't welcome Gator in. Not Sargon. And when we line all of this up, and we look at the storied history of Jim, we sort of do see the reality of things. Sargon won. Literally won. Sargon is alive and healthy in both body and mind. Jim is sick. Sick to the core. Body and mind diseased. His fan base, the same. Death can only be a sweet embrace, a release from this hellscape that Jim finds himself in. So join me as we get down to business. Put our hands together and pray for Jim's timely death. Pray for Jim to be released from the illnesses that plague him. Hands in the air and pray. Pray that Jim meets his maker sooner rather than later. You can accompany that prayer with a prayer for the good and continued prosperity of Carl Benjamin, Saga of the Cat. Pray, speds and spurs, for the death of Daddy Jim. Because not even Sargon would sweep this up, Jim.